Homemade drinks and juices that have a positive effect on the blood. What changes in the blood make you feel worse? What are the benefits of drinking fluids? What drinks should I make to improve my blood count? How do vegetable and fruit juices affect the blood? Watch the video to the end, and we'll tell you what home-cooked drinks can help stabilize your blood count. Blood is a liquid substance, a special connective tissue that circulates through the vessels of the human body, bringing each cell the necessary nutrients, beneficial substances, oxygen, and taking metabolic products and toxins from them. Blood is an essential and important factor of human life activity. Disorders in its structure, changes in its quality and quantity lead to diseases and deterioration of health. What changes in the blood make me feel worse? Blood consists of plasma, the liquid part, which contains water, minerals, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and other active substances. The second component of the blood structure is the form elements. These are leukocytes, the cells that determine the body's defense response. Erythrocytes containing hemoglobin, a carrier of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Platelets, blood plates involved in the formation of clots that close injured vessels and stop bleeding. Without problems, all necessary biochemical transformations occur in the body only if the blood keeps its composition constant. The blood is not subjected to any problems, but only if the blood composition remains constant. 1. Changes and primarily a decrease in the volume of circulating blood. In a normal adult person, 5.5 to 6 liters of blood flows through the blood vessels. 2. Blood clotting, increased viscosity, and a tendency to thrombosis. 3. A decrease in the number of all blood cells, a condition called pancytopenia. It indicates pathology of the hematopoietic organs and primarily the bone marrow. 4. A decrease in hemoglobin, anemia, can be a consequence of digestive disorders when the substances necessary for the formation of this protein are not absorbed in sufficient quantities. 5. Thrombocytopenia, low platelet counts, or the opposite situation, thrombocytosis, can be a reflection of improper liver and spleen function. 6. Separately, changes in the number of white blood cells, platelets, red blood cells are the result of abnormalities in the formation of these cells, which may be toxic in nature or a reflection of the ongoing inflammation in the body. Abnormalities in the composition of the blood are the result: bleeding. Part of the necessary amount of blood is lost. Dehydration. Plasma volume decreases. Metabolic disorders. When there is an increase in the concentration of certain compounds in the blood, such as glucose in diabetes or cholesterol in atherosclerosis. Abnormalities of the clotting system, which occurs with liver disorders and vascular changes. Diseases affecting bone marrow, lymph nodes, spleen. Inflammatory conditions and infectious diseases. The disturbances in your health and condition in case of changes in the blood composition are determined by a lack of oxygen and essential substances reaching the cells, a change in blood acidity, and a significant decrease in the ability to resist viruses and bacteria. Nutrition plays an important role in maintaining the right blood composition, in which liquids, especially juices, have an active influence on the blood. What are the benefits of drinking liquids? All liquids, which include juices and other drinks people drink, consist mainly of water. Water begins to be absorbed already in the esophagus, continues in the stomach and small intestine, and ends in the colon. That is, water is absorbed in all parts of the gastrointestinal tract. Together with water through the mucous membrane pass and enter the blood necessary substances. Coming in the form of a solution, they do not need to undergo digestion because they are already in a state where they easily enter the bloodstream and then, with the flow of blood, reach the necessary part of the human body. Using any beverages is preferable for the fastest recovery with the minimum expenditure of the internal resources of the body. There is no need to waste calories on digesting solid food if all that is needed comes in the form of a solution. That is why it is so useful to drink freshly squeezed fruit and vegetable juices, to drink decoctions and infusions of medicinal herbs. The use of various healthy drinks only has a positive effect on the state of health and blood parameters. Under their influence, proper water-electrolyte balance is maintained. The possibility of developing dehydration is reduced. Blood density and viscosity are monitored, stabilizes digestion. The concentration of toxins in the blood and tissues decreases. Regular cleansing of the body takes place. The work of internal organs improves. The intensity of intestinal motility necessary for the advancement of the food lump is preserved. Regulates the activity of the central nervous system and internal organs. What drinks can I make to improve my blood count? In order to make the blood better, which means in all parameters meet the recommended values, various drinks are used, many of which can be prepared at home. A prominent role in maintaining the right blood volume and the right viscosity is simple water. Drinking enough plain drinking water helps maintain the right proportions of plasma and blood cells. Plain water should be free of harmful impurities and pathogens. The volume of water per day should not be less than 1.5 liters. In addition to plain water, have a positive effect on the blood. Such drinks as green tea, which contains substances that help thin the blood, as well as vitamins that stimulate the formation of white blood cells and red blood cells. This improves the supply of oxygen to the body and strengthens the immune system. Black tea contains substances that strengthen cell membranes. Drinking it will increase the functionality of blood cell elements. Coffee. This applies only to natural coffee. A little makes the blood less viscous and increases its flowing properties. It also reduces the intensity of clotting. The instant coffee contains various additives, which can, on the contrary, clot the blood. Dried fruit compote has a revitalizing effect on the state of blood, helps to maintain not only the volume of blood in the body and the viscosity needed for good blood circulation, but also helps to increase the activity of hematopoiesis, keeping the right number of white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets. Such a drink leads to a timely purification of the blood from toxins, reduces the intensity of acidification. Rosehip decoction is a concentrate of vitamins and minerals, strengthens the functional ability of blood cells, leads to a decrease in the amount of cholesterol and glucose in the plasma. Rosehip decoction supports the basic blood parameters necessary for intensive blood circulation. Among other drinks made from medicinal herbs, the blood is affected. Decoction of meadow clover, which contains salicylic acid and liquefies the blood more intensely than medicines. Ginger tea. Ginger root contains active compounds that lower cholesterol and glucose levels, make the blood less viscous. Infusion of oat grains has a beneficial effect on the hematopoiesis, improves the blood. You can prepare it at the rate of 100 grams of grain, 600 milliliters of hot water, boil for 15 minutes, cool and strain. Take 100 milliliters 3 times a day. How do vegetable and fruit juices affect the blood? Of all the healthy and fairly common drinks, those that stand out for their exceptional effect on the blood are juices made from fruits and vegetables. But the benefits will not come from purchased, reconstituted packaged juices. To achieve a good effect, the following conditions must be met. Juices should be freshly squeezed and should be consumed immediately after preparation. To make juice, it is desirable to use fruits and vegetables from your garden or purchased from a trusted producer. Do not use such juices if you have a history of allergy or food intolerance to the fruit from which they are made. Follow the recommendations on the use of juice. Do not violate the frequency of use and the amount of drink. During cooking, observe the necessary rules for the prevention of intestinal infections. Among the fruit juices have a favorable effect on the blood. Lemon juice, which has a high concentration of ascorbic acid and trace elements. It thins the blood, lowers cholesterol and glucose levels, and helps increase hemoglobin. It is usually added to water or mixed with other juices before consumption. Apple juice contains vitamins, minerals, and pectin. It cleanses the blood, removes toxins, helps to prevent the development of anemia, strengthens the activity of white blood cells. Orange juice has a high concentration of beneficial ingredients. Its consumption leads to the fact that the blood becomes less thick and at the same time is able to form fibrin clots if necessary. Orange juice helps blood formation, blood purification, and supports normal blood flow. Pineapple juice stabilizes the acid-base balance of the blood, helps to cope with excess acid, increases the functionality of the blood cells. This effect is due to the high content of organic acids and proteolytic enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. Pomegranate juice. It combines a high concentration of iron and vitamin C, which helps to cope with anemia. It is good for diabetes and atherosclerosis because it helps lower blood sugar and cholesterol levels. Vegetable juices also bring many benefits and have a positive effect on blood composition. Among vegetable juices, the following take the lead in their effect on the blood. Tomato juice, made from fresh, juicy tomatoes, brings blood values to normal values, is a preventive measure against elevated cholesterol and glucose levels. It thinnens the blood, resists thrombosis, and increases hemoglobin. Carrot juice is very rich in substances that help improve blood composition. It has a high concentration of provitamin A. The only subtlety of using carrot juice is the need to add a drop of vegetable oil, because the necessary conversions from provitamin to vitamin occur only in the presence of fat. Celery juice contains amino acids and flavonoids, minerals, and vitamins necessary to maintain an optimal blood count. Adding celery juice to water or other vegetable juices reduces acidification, normalizes the clotting system, and improves platelet quality. Beet juice has a favorable effect on the content of necessary cells and substances in the blood, increases hemoglobin levels, activates white blood cells. But before using it, you should keep it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours and start using it in small doses, mixed with carrot juice or simply with water. Cucumber juice contains a high concentration of water and is excellent for diluting more concentrated vegetable juices. It leads to preservation of plasma water content, counteracts blood thickening. Consumption of various drinks, including natural juices, has a positive effect on the blood. However, it is always important to follow all recommendations and not to try to use juices and drinks too actively and often. It should be remembered that if used improperly, there can be quite the opposite effect.